And now let's shift our focus to Pakistan, a country suffering with homegrown terrorism. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is continuing to target security forces in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to show its dominance in the tribal region. Recently, they carried out a bomb blast on a vehicle of the security forces in Peshawar city. Such attacks clearly indicate the growing opposition against Pakistani security forces among the Pashtun community. We have this report.
Chaos, panic and bloodshed. A massive explosion rocked Pakistan's Peshawar on September 11. The incident resulted in the death of one paramilitary personnel and left 8 individuals injured, including 2 civilians. The explosion occurred near a hospital complex in Peshawar, the capital of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. The intended target was a vehicle belonging to the Frontier Corps, a paramilitary force responsible for provincial security. The blast inflicted severe damage on the FC vehicle and nearby shops. The wounded were swiftly transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan claimed responsibility for the attack, citing retaliation for FC actions against its members. The group also issued threats of future attacks.
The Pakistani state is now perceived to be weak. It is perceived to be illegitimate. If you've noticed what has happened over the last 2 to 3 years, a government, a popular government, popular also in a manner of speaking, which was manipulated into power by the Pakistani military, was finally overthrown by the Pakistani military, and people who came in, who had some legitimate political base, they were also forced out of office. Right now, the people who govern Pakistan represent practically nobody. It is supposed to be a technocratic government, but it is a government without any popular base or support. It has no legitimacy. These particular groupings, TTP, which has the stated goal of establishing an Islamic order, fundamentalist Islamic order in Pakistan, they have become active. The Pakistan state was always non-existent out here. Now they have become active and they have started to take on the Pakistani military because they perceive that the morale of the Pakistani military right now is very, very low. So I would attribute this rise in activity to the manner in which the Pakistani state, particularly the Pakistani military, has conducted itself in the last 2 to 3 years.
The TTP, a terror group, has been engaged in a decade-long conflict with the Pakistani government, seeking to establish an Islamic caliphate in Pakistan. Since the resurgence of the Taliban in Afghanistan in August 2021, the TTP has intensified its attacks within Pakistan, placing the government on high alert. The TTP and the Afghan Taliban share a close relationship marked by shared training, weapons and funding, as well as coordinated attacks against both the Pakistani and Afghan governments. Recent years have seen this relationship grow even stronger, facilitated by the Afghan Taliban's control of vast border areas between Afghanistan and Pakistan, providing a fertile ground for TTP operations. The Pakistani government is deeply concerned about this alliance. They fear that TTP could use Afghanistan as a safe haven to launch attacks against Pakistan. The Pakistani government has tried to negotiate with the TTP, but the group has so far refused to lay down its arms. The government has also launched military operations against the TTP, but these operations have had limited success.
I think after Taliban took over power in Afghanistan, the TTP, which was a kind of ally of the Taliban in Afghanistan, they got emboldened. Number 2 is that earlier when you had Ghani government, though of course it did not take much action against the TTP, but after Taliban took over and the victory they achieved, through the peace deal, made the TTP feel like, they now have got a sanctuary which can be used against the Pakistan forces. Historically, they have been opposed against Pakistan forces. They consider Pakistan as un-Islamic. they have their own agenda of Islamization.
Pakistan's history of supporting Islamist extremists for geopolitical reasons has contributed to its current challenges. The conflict between the TTP and the government is intricate, with no straightforward solutions. The TTP remains steadfast in pursuing its ideology, while the Pakistani government grapples with issues like terrorism, poverty, and corruption. The resolution of this conflict remains uncertain, but its toll on Pakistan, both in terms of security and the economy, is devastating.